Now let's talk just briefly, if you can just give the viewers an overview of the prosecution's case and then the defense case.
Okay. Well, the prosecution's case is basically, again, it starts with Oscar Pistorius being an angry, jealous boyfriend. There was a fight that night, and they've already presented a witness in the form of a neighbor who has testified that she heard yelling and that there was some sort of perhaps a fight going on that engaged in, Oscar Pistorius became enraged throughout the course of that fight, and he basically attacked Reeva Steenkamp and shot her 4 times through the bathroom where she was there to seek refuge and perhaps some sort of protection and maybe make a phone call for help because she had a cell phone with her in the bathroom. That's essentially the prosecution's case. Okay. The defense case, on the other hand, will be that Oscar Pistorius was in fact living in an area in South Africa where there have been numerous home invasion robberies. The homicide rate is very high in South Africa. He was very attuned to that, very fearful of being the victim of a break-in, and that fear was exacerbated by not only the fact that he was famous, but also the fact that he had physical limitations that would make him more vulnerable to a break-in or being attacked in that way. That's exactly what happened this night, is that he became fearful when he heard noises from the bathroom, that somebody had broken into the house. It was not an unlikely thing to happen. He believed that his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp, was asleep next to him. He then immediately jumps to action. He goes into the bathroom still without his prosthetics. He is extremely fearful. He yells to the person to come out or at least give some notice that he's there. There isn't really an adequate response. He fears that he's going to be attacked, and he ends up shooting through a closed door at who he perceives to be a criminal who's there to cause him and his girlfriend harm. Okay. And that this was a tragic accident and not a murder.
Okay, and before we even get into the details, any more details of the different cases, let's talk about the charges that have come out of that. So generally, the prosecution is charged premeditated murder, which essentially for us is first-degree murder, and the sentence is about the same as 25 to life. So they are alleging that there was premeditation in this case. Do you think that fits the evidence they're going to present?
Well, I mean, it's a little hard to tell now. We're in the very early stages of the prosecution case. Premeditation, and I think that it's important for the audience to know that premeditation does not need to mean that something needs to be planned far in advance. Right. What it means is that the person had the ability, the mental ability, to both form the intent to kill and to reflect on that intent to kill and to decide to go forward and do it. If the case unfolds the way that they want it to, the way that they predict that it will, they do have a strong case for premeditation because there was a fight that took place over hours. There was a meeting a few days earlier between Reeva Steenkamp and an ex-boyfriend that perhaps that causes some sort of motive that Oscar Pistorius became extremely jealous, enraged. There could be a fight over the course of maybe as much as an hour or two, and he's developing this plan to perhaps kill her. And then, of course, the smoking gun, and in this case we really do have a smoking gun, but to the prosecution the smoking gun really will be that he retrieved the gun, took out the gun, cocks the gun, and shoots the gun four times. And again, if you believe the prosecution's case, the prosecution witness, the very first one, Ms. Berger, the neighbor, she says she heard one shot, a pause, followed by 3 shots, meaning again that there was this premeditation, that there's a reflection going on with Oscar Pistorius, that he's going forward and intentionally killing his girlfriend.
So even during the act of shooting, he had a momentary pause where he reflected before he shot more. And that even there could be considered premeditation.
And you and I both know that this idea of premeditation it's a complicated one. It's a complex idea, and it doesn't need to exist again. You want to remove from your mind this idea that somebody has sat down and written out a plan to kill somebody, because in fact, just like you said, the premeditation could even start after the first shot. Right. You could fire the first shot, not premeditated, then reflect, and decide to shoot 3 more. So premeditation could insert itself at any time throughout the course of a conflict.
Oscar Pistorius arrived for day 1 of his murder trial.
In the District of Pretoria, the accused did unlawfully and intentionally kill a person, to wit, Reeva Steenkamp.
Do you understand the charges, Mr. Pistorius?
I do, my lady.
How do you plead?
Not guilty, my lady.
The amputee track star is accused of murdering his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp, on Valentine's Day last year in his home. Pistorius says he mistook Steenkamp for a burglar, but prosecutors maintain he killed the young model in cold blood.